Hello and welcome to the webinar. Thank you all for joining. Today we're going to be going over why you should back up your Office 365. So we've got two presenters today. One is Will Nobles, who's the founder and CEO of Vector Choice Technology Solutions. And we also have Jenny Trebbing, who is a partner account manager at Skykick. So for the attendees and on Facebook, we're also going to be following along. If anyone has any questions, put it in the comments on Facebook, or if you're on the Zoom webinar, you can put it in the Q&A section or the chat section, and we will get those questions answered for you. So I'm going to turn it over to Will to introduce Vector Choice.
Hey guys, I'm glad everybody was able to join today, Facebook and also on the webinar. A little bit about Vector Choice. We are a technology company. We have received numerous awards over the past couple of years. We made Inc. 5000 again this year, and the best and brightest companies to work for in the nation in 2020 as well. So we've got a lot of good things going on, and things are going awesome. Even through the pandemic, we have been very successful so far. Here's some things the clients say about us, but one of the things I want to share is really what is Vector? What do we do? So we're a technology company that provides outsourced managed services or outsourced IT and hosting services to our clients. We also do consulting. We do phone hosting, virtual server hosting, email hosting. We're a partner of Microsoft 365, and we do all kinds of gamut from being your CTO all the way down to your help desk. So we can handle pretty much anything IT related that you're having. So Jenny, share with us who is Skykick?
Hey, I would be happy to. Thank you so much, Will. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining today. So Skykick. So we are cloud management for technology partners and Microsoft solution providers, companies like Will, who are supporting the SMB market. We support over 25,000 of these solution technology providers globally. And what we're doing for them and why would they use Skykick is basically we provide a risk-averse solution for these technology providers for their clients for migration and backup. So we can safely transfer your data to the cloud and then, of course, protect that data for the clients as well.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so we're going to take a poll real quick. Do you think having your data in the cloud, does it mean it's backed up by default? So I'm going to launch the poll. And I'm sorry to people on Facebook cannot vote, but if you want to put it in the comments, that's fine. And it's pretty much yes, no, and I have no idea of data being backed up. A lot of people think that by default, if I put it in the cloud, it's being backed up, and we're going to prove today that that is not true. So I'll give it a few more minutes. I see some votes coming in. Looks like no is taking the lead right now. Alrighty, so it looks like, well, it's going back and forth. So we got 7 no's, 2 yeses, and 2 I have no idea. And don't feel bad if you had no idea, not a problem. That's what we are here for and to educate you. But thank you for filling that out. And I'm going to stop that. All right, so guys, what we're going to focus on today is backing up Office 365. Now, we're just going to be talking about one product that is in the cloud. But when you outsource to an IT company, I don't care if it's virtual servers, if it's Google, if it's Office 365, if it's file sharing or anything, Dropbox, really don't be fooled that just because it's in the cloud and it's in that big data center somewhere outside of your house or your business, that don't be fooled that it is being backed up, because most cases it is not. Now, I wanted to start off by just showing you proof right straight from the Microsoft website. If you guys want to search that, you can search this. But down at the bottom, B, their focus is providing you service and uptime. But they are clearly telling you here that they do not back up your data. Okay, so this is from Microsoft's website. So that right there should show you Microsoft is not backing up your data, and that's not their focus as being a cloud provider to you. So Microsoft roles and commitments, what's out of scope? Microsoft is not a business providing backups. They're business providing SLA, service level agreements, and also uptime and just that product itself, the enriched product. Now, inside of Microsoft, there is some legal holds that they can do. But that's very expensive and very complicated to set up. And also it's only really for the enterprise. So for the SMB or small business market, it's not really for them. But just so, it's very clear that I'm not trying to say Microsoft absolutely doesn't back up. But again, their legal hold is really still not a backup, but it's for the enterprise business anyway. What is cloud backup? Cloud backup is taking data from your cloud provider and backing it up somewhere else. And it could be down to the granular level. It could be down to a single file, single email, single mailbox. So backing up Office 365 is going to be key if you ever need to recover things. Some companies I have seen pay thousands to get data recovered from a backup or thought they had a backup, and they've paid thousands out. Now, and one of the things to point out as well, 365 can be hacked, okay? Just like you've probably heard of CryptoLocker virus that crypts the files on your computers. Well, there is hacks now that you can do that inside of Office 365 or any email system that it will encrypt your email. So can you imagine sitting down one day and at your desk and all your emails are encrypted? So all you can see is the subject line, but not from who it's from or the body of it, just the subject, just to give you a little tease. But that is something that's out there now. So that's why it's very important to back up the 365 platform. So why bother backing up? Well, reality is you've got to understand the data that you're losing. And a lot of people misunderstand some Microsoft policies, which I shared with you before. So what I want you all to do, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think, you come in the morning, you sit down at your desk, you open up your email. All your emails are gone. Or you've got a CryptoLocker virus on your emails and all you can see is the subject line. Or you have a rogue employee that deletes all the emails, or a rogue IT guy that deletes all your emails for the company. By the way, I'll tell you a story that happened. Think of all your files on SharePoint or OneDrive being completely gone. What would you do? What would be the financial impact to your business or to your employer that maybe some of you guys are not business owners on this call? What would be the impact of your job future? Do I have a job still because all the data's gone? Well, that is the reality of not having backups when it comes to 365 or any type of product. So that's why you can open your eyes now if you did close your eyes. That's why I encourage you to make sure you do backups. And especially with 365 as well. Now we had, there was a story, I told you I was going to tell you a story where there was a organization that they used this one man IT shop. The guy, they gave him a notice that they were leaving, and because he was mad because they were leaving him, he deleted all their Office 365 accounts. So everything was gone. They did not have backups either. That is why it's key, because you're going to have employees. You never think, I will never have that type of employee that will delete my data. Don't be fooled. Things happen to the best people. So make sure to back up. Data loss and the cost to the MSP market or the small business market. The numbers have gone up. These numbers are at 2017, 2018, as you see, they're going up, $20,000, $30,000 clips. I will tell you that it's probably close to $250,000 now of data loss that happens. So again, backing up data is key. And it comes from all different directions, from user error, and all of us have deleted an email and say, crap, I deleted that email. Where did it go? Yes, it does go to your deleted box, but then your deleted box gets deleted. Just say you clean that up. Well, guess what? It's gone. But you really, really needed that email to prove something for a lawsuit or a patient or something. Maliciously, like I was talking about, people are going to be malicious. And let's say you have an employee that you're letting go, and then they delete all their emails, but you needed those emails. If they're a salesperson, you need to know where they're at in their sales process. So recovering that. Software issues. Hey, it's software. It happens. It's going, Microsoft is not perfect. We all know that. So you can definitely lose data that way. And then also hacking, I've covered that as well, is getting hacked and losing that data. Now, here's some cases where, again, I covered a little bit, but accidentally deleting your mailbox, or deleting a file, and I know I've been talking a lot about emails, but this is a lot for SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams, and email with the 365 backup. So you delete something accidentally, or someone again maliciously deletes it because they're mad at the boss or mad at the owner. And especially today of working remotely, mobile workers, people working on their iPhones or their tablets, people working from home, all the way up to the public sector and all between healthcare, financial, legal. There is a need to make sure this data is backed up and kept, and in some cases, in some industries, 7 years or more. So the product value of having the backup, because you're backing up Exchange, and all you guys know, a lot of you guys know, is Outlook. You use Outlook. Well, Exchange Online is the back end to Outlook. So look at it that way. So it's backing up your emails, it's backing up your SharePoint, it's backing up your OneDrive, your Office 365 groups, and your Microsoft Teams. So all your chatting back and forth in Microsoft Teams, it's all backing up. There's the retention, hassle-free setting up. Guess what? When you're a customer of ours, we set up the backup for you in the background. You do not have to worry about it. It's nothing you have to download or install. We're backing up the 365 for you in the background. So some of the use cases of what's happened: accidentally deleting 50,000 files from SharePoint library, the accounting department. So think if you're in accounting and someone actually deletes all your accounting folders, what do you do? How do you start over? Do you recreate everything? How much money is lost? How much time is lost? So think about the value of having that backup. Here's one, covering 3,000 files at one time. Impossible to do. To recover this data is very, very expensive if you don't have a backup in place. Here's one. It only took minutes to bring up a whole folder back down to SharePoint. Yes, that is absolutely correct. You want it to be able to recover quickly. And a lot of people, and the question we get asked when I do these webinars is, well, how do we recover this? If you're a client of ours, all you have to do is put in a ticket, tell us what you want to recover, and we will recover that data for you. No worry on your side. We're actually doing all that for you. Here's some more reasons to back up. And I'm not going to read all these off. I'm going to share these real quick for you. But Jenny, why people are reading this, what are some other reasons that you've ran into as a partner of other IT companies out there? What some stories have you heard?
Oh, I actually just had one happen in June. One of our partners had a client of theirs who's in the financial industry. Their CEO was hacked, and the hack pulled down all of their contacts. So his entire contact database of the CEO was hacked and locked down. And the financial industry is also heavily regulated.
Yes.
And so they had to, the many steps that they had to do as a financial institution was they also had to show the data prior and then post, and then do their matchup, make sure everyone was contacted, but they also had to show that to their regulatory governing body. So that was something that we actually provided. We since we do so many snapshots in a 24-hour period every single day, we were able to pull the data of what it looked like before he was hacked, and then we pull all the data post. And then he was able to do a full restore, and then he was able to present, that to his governing body, as well as get in touch with all of his contacts to determine who was compromised and who wasn't. And so that just happened in June.
Oh, well.
And so,
Oh.
yeah, so that is something that we see quite often.
So, and Jenny, you probably hear a lot of IT companies say
Mhm.
this, that, oh, our clients, they say they're small and they have nothing to lose.
Oh
Um,
gosh.
and we're not a big company, so we're never going to be hacked.
Mhm.
What do you say to
So,
that?
yeah, it's not, and I hate to use this time-honored joke, but size does not matter. We have a new we have a new villain out there, and it's ransom cloud.
Yep.
And just like you were talking about earlier, Will, it's not really about how large or how small you are. It's if you've got your data in the cloud and you don't have a strong backup in place. Hackers have become very sophisticated, and they've had to, because the technology is evolving, and so they've had to become very sophisticated where they can now lock down a cloud environment like that. They can break into Office 365. They can break into to Microsoft like that, which is why Microsoft clearly states in their services agreement that they are not responsible for data loss.
Yep.
They are a productivity company, not a protection company. And so I say to those small businesses out there, you are probably maybe even more vulnerable than you are to a large company, because some large companies may have these processes and procedures already in place, and they may specifically target you because you have that attitude. So that is something you need to consider, because it's all for hackers. It's all about the success of what it is that they're trying to do. It's not really about how large or small you are. It's about whether or not they were able to do it. And so you definitely don't want to give them any leeway that they can. So
Yep. Yep.
absolutely.
Well, thank you for that. So,
Yeah.
guys, a lot of people say, okay, where's Skykick play into this whole game of backing up and the relationship that Skykick has with Vector Choice? So,
Mhm.
like Jenny was saying before, Skykick is a partner only. They work directly with the MSP market out there, and they work through us to provide their products. So if you have been migrated to 365, you're one of my clients on this call, and you've been migrated to 365 in the past 2 years, that was with Skykick. So in the background of all that, copying your emails over, copying your calendars, your folders in your email, everything from your email over. We use Skykick for that. So Skykick does two things for us. One, they do help us with the migration. So that tool does the migration for us to make it seamless to you. And I would love for if any clients on here that have been migrated over in the past 2 years with email and how seamless that was, if you could raise your hand, and I would definitely love to bring you on to talk about that if you can. So Skykick does that, and then also the backup. So now part of what Skykick gives us is we give you a year free. So if you do a migration with us, we give you a year free of backups through Skykick. After that year, we will reach out to you and see if you want to continue doing that backup. But by default, we give you a year free doing that. So let's talk about all the coverage, Jenny, of what Skykick covers when it comes to backup. And I mean, obviously, we see here on the slide,
Right.
everything pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much everything. That's right. We were one of the first cloud backup solution companies actually to come up with backup for groups and modern team sites. And especially now today, there is a lot of collaboration going on, and so we do the full breadth of protection across Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive, and groups and teams. And especially now with SharePoint and Teams becoming the way of the world and the way that we're all working today, that is very important. And one of the things I like to point out is that we, also have versioning. I guess enabled for SharePoint. And what I mean by that is you can actually restore for your clients. You can restore back to a specific version of SharePoint if you needed to. And as far as Exchange goes, you can see the list there. Tasks, notes, and journals, and public folders, and shared objects, and things of that nature are usually something that other providers are not able to do. They just do email, calendar, contacts, and it ends there. So we like to say we're the breadth and the depth, because we can get very granular when it comes to Exchange, SharePoint, and OneDrive as well. So it's it's definitely a solution that that the providers like to have in place for their SMBs.
Yep. And Jenny, some of the scenarios, especially with email,
Mhm.
can a user recover from a single email, and can they recover obviously the full mailbox or a folder inside their
Yep,
mailbox?
absolutely, absolutely. So, Will, when your clients are calling you and they have to do a restore, it could be a full mailbox restore should they need that, or if there's something specific that they're looking for, down to a single email that has a file in it that they need, or a single email with specific information in it. You can actually do a keyword search or a smart search for them, find that and restore just that if they needed to.
Yeah. And
So
what's
it
interesting,
runs the gamut.
yeah, yeah. And what's interesting to me in teams, the conversation. So it sounds like from an HR standpoint,
Mhm.
that would be good because if an employee posts something derogatory on a whole company share, and then it gets deleted to hide it, you can recover the
Mhm.
conversation as well.
Right, right, because those conversation files are stored. So, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
With Teams, that is something that is a concern for a lot of people. And of course, we can do a restore of conversations, files, the notebook. Anytime you guys establish a Teams channel, all of you SMBs out there, there's a lot of data in there. We've got all the conversations, we've got all of the files within that channel. So, yep, all of that is recoverable.
And if someone is using this product to back
Mhm.
up with us and with Skykick, uh, when a Teams channel is created, does it
Mhm.
automatically get rolled into the backup automatically, or do they need to call us and let us know?
Right. Well, so typically when it comes to our backup with Exchange and with SharePoint and Teams as part of the SharePoint infrastructure as a modern SharePoint site or a modern team site, any of that automation that you have enabled for them, anytime we go out into their tenant and discover that new SharePoint site or that new channel or that new Exchange mailbox, if that is enabled for them, then yep, it's going to automatically start backing up that data for them right away.
Okay. And we got a question here. Does Microsoft back up Microsoft 365 E3, the enterprise level? Um, I can answer, and Jenny, E3 does not get backed up
It
automatically.
it has the minimum, I believe it's a minimum retention policy for Microsoft. I think might be 14 days.
14 days. Okay.
I think Microsoft maintains it for 14 days, and then once it's permanently deleted, it's not recoverable after those 14 days. So that's it. And we're talking about SMBs that need that need retention in place for 7 years or 5 years or 3 years. So 14 days really isn't very long,
Yeah.
when you're talking about that. So I believe it's their minimum.
Okay. Okay. And George, I can definitely look that up and send you an email on that as well, just to
Right.
verify that. Then we got another question. Could this be considered archiving, and is it compliant?
Right. So as far as you're concerned, Will, with Microsoft's MFA policies, Skykick Cloud Backup is fully MFA compliant. Now, it is not an archiving solution. It's a cloud to cloud backup, so it is not considered archiving. And I don't know if, Will, you want to talk a little bit about the difference there with archiving versus this cloud backup that is in place. But it basically has to do with copies, versus being able to um, restore the data. So
Correct. Yeah.
um, you can probably go into more detail on that with your client there. But
Yeah.
um, it is not an archiving solution. That is actually something a little different, and I'm not really sure. Um, you
Sure.
know, that's something we
Yeah.
want to go into today. But archiving is
Yeah.
a exactly as it sounds. It's something you're storing something for the long term and from a hardware perspective. So I'll let you
Yeah.
maybe
And
talk to more of them about that.
exactly. So, and when she said MFA, guys, that's
Oh, right.
multi-factor authentication. So the authentication between 365 and Skykick's backup is compliant from that standpoint. And then yes, the archiving is totally different and a whole nother webinar and I can definitely reach out to you and talk more about archiving, but it would not be considered archiving the way the terms of archiving and being compliant, especially from a legal standpoint and stuff like that. So, alrighty, so let's go to the next slide here. You know, the how many times, so we'll talk here about how many times that the backup's happening, how long is the backups kept and everything, Jenny?
Right. So this speaks a little bit to RPO and RTO, some objectives that technologists like Will probably find very important. But what we mean by that is we do up to 6 snapshots a day. So we do up to, and the reason we say up to is because we're not going to stop a capture in the middle to start a new one. You know, so that's why we say up to 6 a day, and we that is never reduced. That is never minimized. We never do any pairing of the data and the snapshots, and so that minimizes the time from the last backup to data loss. And then, of course, the rapid search, we talked a little bit about this earlier when Will was asking about, you know, can you do, you know, a single file? Can we do a whole mailbox restore? You can find lost data in seconds. There's browse and search capabilities for vector choice when they are looking for your data to restore. And then, of course, the one-click flexible restore. And this speaks a little bit to when Will was referring to, you know, legal hold and some other more complicated, more expensive solutions. You know, they can take quite a bit of time and they take a pretty high level of expertise in order to get that restore taken care of. So with the solution, you know, it's bulk and granular, cross mailbox, point in time, and it literally is one click.
Yep. And
Very
just
quick.
remember, if you are a client of Vector Choice, you know, all you have to do is reach out to us to support, phone call, text us, and tell us what you're trying to recover, and we will work with you and we will recover that for you. Alrighty, so next slide, the value here. Obviously, I mean, to me, the value to give to my customers is one, it's a peace of mind for me as well. And I'm hoping for the owners and just the individual employees, it's a peace of mind for that. You know, to me, with what we've worked with in the past 2 years with Skykick, it has been very easy to use. It's worked every single time. We haven't had issues with it, but that's from the IT provider standpoint. But Jenny, what do you hear a lot of people say from the client perspective? The peace of mind?
Right. So from the client perspective, a lot of the feedback that our partners receive is is mostly around the setup, and of course, like you mentioned, the peace of mind. And I'll go in a little bit more about that, about the setup. There's nothing to install, you know, so there's no additional hardware that's needed on you know, from the perspective of the client, which of course is savings right there. And then if there's no additional software to install either, you know, there's no on-site visits required. I mean, this is something that, you know, Vector Choice can do and all of our partners do very easily and very quickly. And like we mentioned earlier, getting started really quickly, it's as easy as a phone call to Will, a few clicks on his end, and your backup is in place, and it's going to start. And of course, the auto enabling that I mentioned earlier with Exchange and SharePoint. You know, anytime that auto enable is in place, any new mailboxes that we discover, any new team sites, any new SharePoint sites that we discover are automatically going to come back on, are automatically going to be on. And then of course, unlimited backup. You know, we provide unlimited retention and unlimited data to all of our partners. So there are no data limits. There are no time limits. You know, that is not necessary. You know, Will has flexibility when it comes to choosing where to put your data in Azure. He can choose our stores. He can choose his, as far as, you know, what data center to choose from. He has regional choice as well. If he wants it, you know, local to where you're located or locally to where he's located, those are all within his power, with no additional charges from Skykick, which means that's additional savings to the client. And then of course the peace of mind, right? The comprehensive protection, there's no overages, and the flexibility grows with the business. You know, a lot of companies out there offer really expensive enterprise level disaster recovery. And for a small business, a lot of times that's not really going to work for them. That's not the level that they're at. It doesn't really grow with their business. They need to start with something that's cloud to cloud with Exchange. And then as they're developing their collaborative tools, then they can move their backup into that scenario. And so we consider that, and that's what we like to present to our partners, as something that the SMBs can grow with, and it's a lot of flexibility.
Yep. And also, just the value that a cloud backup, let's talk about that a little bit, just
Right.
additional value. Obviously, George brought up the E3 and the
Mm-hmm.
minimum backup with E3 there. But what's just ultimately, I mean, I know we've covered this in the whole webinar, but in a nutshell, what is the ultimate value that a cloud backup is providing Office 365?
Right. So it's a complementary service is the way we like to look at it. They're better together. Office 365 and Microsoft 365. Microsoft's in the business of productivity. They are a productivity company, and that is their MO. And they leave the data protection in the hands of the SMB or in the hands of the solution provider for the SMB. And so that's where we come in. And that's why we like to look at ourselves as that complementary service, that peace of mind that you have, to protect that Office 365 data. So once you've made that decision to move to the cloud, the value in knowing that all of that data is protected is where we come in. And then again, we try to make it as risk averse as possible for the partners to show for their clients. So several backups per day, unlimited backup and retention, the rapid search and one-click restore, all of that speaks to that value of peace of mind, knowing the data is protected, and you can be as productive and as collaborative as you need to be in Office 365, knowing that your data is protected.
Great. So guys, just to recap, and Logan, I'm going to bring you in a second if we have any questions, but just to recap, guys, Skykick is a technology partner provider, a SaaS provider that we use to help migrate you from a Google or an on-premise Exchange into the Office 365 platform. And then also Skykick provides a cloud backup for 365 when it comes to Teams, OneDrive, SharePoint, and email. So Logan, what questions do we have? I know I cheated and read some off already.
Yeah, we've got quite a few. Have we discussed personal Microsoft 365 versus company 365, especially if the company does not want to pay for the space to back up personal emails?
So I'm not sure if I fully understand that. And I know that, and Jenny, this might be a two-part question. One is, when a company creates a OneDrive account, obviously we're backing up OneDrive, but also it also creates a personal OneDrive for that user, sort of like in the old days when you would have a personal drive on the server. Jenny, does that does the backup also back up that personal OneDrive as well?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe that is the case. We will back up the personal OneDrive, anything that you've got, anything that's being any data that is in the cloud, whether that's a personal or the the one through your company. If it's in the cloud, it will be backed up.
Yep. Okay. And as long as it's part of the organization. So
right, that is correct. As long as it's part of that organization.
Yep. So John, I hope that sort of answers your question. Now, personal email, obviously, if you're using Gmail or tied to, and again, I'm trying to read into what John was asking here is if you have Outlook and they have where you can have multiple inboxes, like you can have a Gmail account or I hate to say Yahoo or AOL account in your Outlook, you guys are not backing up that. And John, again, I can definitely take that conversation off to the side, John, and I'll reach out to you to better understand exactly what you're asking there.
All right, we've got another question. If I get a virus / ransomware / whatever, or if my files are hacked or corrupted, will my backups include the problem?
So I think the question is, and Jenny, this is sort of like the same thing as backing up a computer. Will the ransomware, if you back up and ransomware hits that computer, does your backup actually transfer? Can the backup be compromised by the ransomware attack? And some backup solutions with computers and servers can that can happen. Um, but Jenny, I'm assuming because we're taking multiple snapshots,
Hmm.
we will roll back to the best snapshot that's available. So yes, and again, and Jenny, I'm just assuming on this
Yep, you
is
are absolutely correct.
yeah, we're going to back up the virus because the backup doesn't know that your email
Hmm.
box has been compromised, but because it's different snapshot, we're going to roll back to the best known snapshot.
Right? Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
That is correct. And because we do so many, there's not a lot of time lost between those snapshots. So it could be one that was maybe done that earlier that day or possibly the day before. However far back you would need to go to find the best one before the compromise.
Okay.
All right, we do have a couple more questions. How long does it take to migrate to O365 when using Skykick?
Yeah, so and I'll start with that, and from my experience, so we migrated a 2,000 person company, the 2,000 mailboxes over with Skykick from an on-premise exchange into the cloud. It depends on how big each individual person's mailbox is, how long each mailbox takes. So some mailboxes literally can run in an hour. Some might take 2 days. So with that big of a project, I think we started to back up, and about a week and a half later, we had everybody's email in the cloud confirmed that it was there, and did the cutover in about a week and a half. Now, obviously, there's a lot of prep uptime for us to do to get to that point, as long as well as Skykick's prep. But Jenny, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it really is up to, it's just like you said, Will, it depends on, the source environment that you're working with, the number of mailboxes, the size, things of that nature. But, it if it's as few as 50 mailboxes, that we have seen that done in as quickly as a couple of days, or if it's something, you know, uh, of size, 2,000 mailboxes or 1,000 mailboxes, it really depends on the prep and the uptime. But as with working so closely with the partners in these scenarios, because we do work directly with partners, we're able to do that as quickly and as safely as necessary. So we will always act in the best interest of the client in that case, meaning we want the client to have a good experience with you when you do the migration. So if we say, hey, there's a lot of data here. I know you wanted to do this in a week, but we feel it really should be a week and a half or 2 weeks. We will let you know, because we want it to be, as safe and as good of experience as possible. So it could be as little as a couple of days or as long as a couple of weeks, depending on the scenario. But again, that's something that we would work together on to make sure the experience is best.
Yeah, and the nice thing about the Skykick portal is as each backup completes, we can tell who started, if there's any errors with a mailbox, who's completed. So we can keep you, as a customer, we can keep you updated through each day with the whole process of where everybody's at with the migration. And then once it's migrating, we do a cut. Now, one of the things I always tell people, the day after is always a whole nother world. After cutting a mailbox, you want to have the least busiest day of the year
Mhm.
or of the week for you to cut, because that is, I mean, there's a lot of things we have to do between setting up your printers to scan the email. We have to, any other applications that you're using the email from, we have to reconfigure that. So, the day after, usually what we say is we'll cut Thursday night, and Friday is sort of the day we get everything straight. We've done it so many times now that we sort of know what to run in, what we're going to run into, and the issues that we're going to have, so we can alleviate those issues beforehand. Um, and then the day of the cut, we do a last sync. So let's say that mailbox ABC finished on Monday, and then John Doe's finished on Wednesday. Well, we're going to do a final sync of that email and push all of the emails that came in, from user ABC on Monday. Everything from Monday to Friday, we're going to resync all that back up so you have that latest data in Office 365 as well. So you do not miss any data at all. And the nice thing about it, if you did, we can resync, as well as we can always go back to your mail service provider that you had. If it was on-premise email or Gmail or whatever, we can roll back and look at that to pull any data from that. So,
and I'd like to speak to that experience a little bit, Will, if you don't mind,
sure.
just so everyone on our webinar knows today. Vector Choice is a gold Skykick partner. They have been with us for years now, and their experience level, not just with migrations and backup, but their experience level, with the cloud and with Microsoft technologies is top notch. And so we have a really strong partnership with them just because of their experience level, and specifically with Skykick.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Logan, anything else?
Yeah. So are the snapshots basically incremental backup, and how often is a full backup done?
So the snapshots are full. It is a full snapshot of whatever it is that you're having backed up. We'll say it's a full snapshot of the email environment of that person's mailbox. And anytime that you want to do a restore, you can restore the full mailbox, or you can restore something individually. And I just want to be sure I answered that. Will, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think, and George is very technical, so I see where he's coming from between incremental and full backups. And people that don't understand incremental means that you have a full backup and you only take a backup of the changes. That's what incremental backup is. And with Skykick doing a full backup every single time, the nice thing about it, it does not take resources from you. It doesn't slow anything down for you, because it's all done the cloud to cloud via API. Between 365 and Skykick, so it doesn't affect your machine or your Outlook or your Teams or OneDrive at all.
Yep, that is correct.
Right.
So we've got one more question, and I know that we've kind of hit this a few different times throughout the webinar. If something is lost, how does someone recover from cloud backup?
Yeah, so if something is lost and recover, the easiest thing to do is just email us. If you, I mean, obviously you're going to be a client of us if you're using Skykick through us. You just email support. You can call us. You can text us. You can go to our client portal and just put in, hey, I deleted an email on this date and it's from this. As much information as you can give us, the better. And we will go ahead and recover that for you in the background. We might have to reach out to definitely define exactly what you're looking for. But again, if that's a team chat, if that's a whole Teams channel, or OneDrive or SharePoint or data from that level, just reach out to us, tell us what you're trying to recover, and we will take care of it for you. Logan, was that the last question there?
That was all of them.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming to the webinar. I hope you learned something that, just because it's in the cloud, it's not being backed up all the time. And just to realize that there is a need for that. If you're interested, please reach out to me. If you're a client and you don't know if you have cloud backup or not, reach out to me. I can let you know. And if you're a client and want to add cloud backup, definitely reach out to me and I can take care of that. And if you're someone that's just wanting to come to the webinar to see what's going on, and if you would like to be interested in us migrating your email to 365 or backing up your 365, again, reach out to me as well. Thank you so much, everyone. Jenny, thank you so much for coming on. Logan for moderating. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Will.